This video was created by Belmac, a group of neighbors living near the proposed development on 78 Avenue, west of 114th Street. And, over the course of a year and a half, have had meetings with the city planner, the developer, and our city councilor, Ben Henderson. As we enter the community consultation phase of this development, we wanted to tell you our concerns, and how to give feedback on the City of Edmonton Community Consultation site. When proposing a new development, there are some guidelines you need to take into account. One of these guidelines is the ARP or the Area Redevelopment Plan. The McKernan-Belgravia ARP was created in 2013 and 2014. This plan took an input from the developers as well as the community. The developers and the McKernan and Belgravia communities both agreed to it. This plan provided a framework for increased density, as well as transit-oriented development. Community consultation. So, what is community consultation? Community consultation is when the city provides you the opportunity to give your feedback on a proposed development, in this case Metro 78. Currently, we are in the community consultation phase of this development. Our concerns. Height. In the ARP, the maximum height allowed for any new developments is 4 stories high with a maximum floor area ratio of 2.3. Floor area ratio is the floor area of the building divided by the area of the actual site. This provides increased density while fitting into our neighborhoods. An example of that is the picture on your left. The first proposal that was proposed was 2 4-story buildings, but after city review and community feedback, this was changed to 6 stories, and later what appears to be 7 stories. This is justified by the developer because A. Increased costs due to utility upgrades, B. The proximity to the LRT entrance and the crosswalk over 114th Street makes this site a gateway to the community. Provided a snapshot of their cash flow in their ARP amendment document, showing it will take 35 years to give their money back for the utility costs. However, this was done incorrectly. Belmac did a correct break-even analysis that showed they need to build an additional 10 units to compensate for the utility costs, not the 32 proposed. However, this incorrect break-even analysis is still in their ARP amendment documents, and they are still using this as their reason for the increased height. Belmac also calculated a full cash flow which showed that the development is still profitable at 4 stories. We asked the developer for a copy of their full cash flow so we could compare, but they declined. We have significant concerns over the mass and height and discussed this extensively with the developer and city planner. This includes 1. Dwarfing surrounding homes, too large a mass for the space. 2. Setting a precedent for other developments to not comply with the ARP and be higher in height than intended. 3. An increase in traffic. The developer's consultant estimated an additional 304 vehicle trips a day. The green spine. What is the green spine? The green spine is the area between the east of the building and the LRT fence. The ARP envisions this to be an open space and at least 12 meters. The proposed green spine is now 9 meters. This will make the green spine feel like a tightly enclosed space, and sets a precedent that it is acceptable for other developments to violate the width for the green spine, and makes it much less likely the vision of the open space along the LRT will occur. The buffer. There currently isn't any planned buffer between the new north-south lane and the neighbors adjacent to the lane. We feel there should be at minimum a 1-meter buffer, and at least large enough to accommodate trees, for the following reasons. A. Increase privacy for the adjacent neighbors. And B. Decrease the noise and pollution for the adjacent neighbors. And C. Provide space for larger vehicles to turn without damage. Without a buffer, it is expected adjacent neighbors will be forced to place bollards at the corner of their lots to prevent damage to their property. And D. Improve the visual appearance for neighbors, rather than a view of pavement and cars. And finally E. The ARP indicates there should be appropriate transitions to existing adjacent 1 to 2 story residences through means such as side yards and building stepbacks. We arranged a meeting between the developer and the two adjacent neighbors on June 9th. The developer indicated he had no interest in a buffer, but instead would put up a fence and would contact the two adjacent neighbors to further discuss the design. It is 2 months later and they have not yet been contacted. Child care. There is a need for high-quality child care in the area, and this would also be beneficial for the families that live in Metro 78. We offered to work with the developer on attracting a high-quality child care provider, either day home or daycare. The developer included a specially designed unit that could only function as a day home in their presentation to the community leagues. However, in their current version of the DC2 not only have they removed this, but child care is no longer possible as it is not listed as possible use of the building. Safety issues regarding traffic have not been addressed. With the current cul-de-sac, pedestrians and vehicles are separate, minimizing the risk of injury. This aligns well with the city's Vision Zero, having a long-term goal of zero traffic-related fatalities and serious injuries. However, with Metro 78, pedestrians will need to walk through a parking area to access the plaza, and the entrance of the plaza is itself a drop-off zone. And the transportation impact assessment estimated there will be an additional 304 cars a day from this development. Exponentiating these issues is that both of the buildings have a dual-purpose loading zone, garbage pickup and corner cut zone. This means when this zone is in use it will not be possible for large vehicles to make a turn into the back lane, and they will need to back up to 78th Avenue. This design is a perfect storm for injuries and not at all in alignment with the city's Vision Zero. We met with the transportation department many times to discuss this and provided design options and solutions to minimize the risk of injury, but they declined to seriously consider our concerns and approve the transportation impact assessment. Other issues. 1. Side setbacks. The distance from the side of the proposed development to the current back lane is only 1.2 meters. This will create privacy issues for residents on the other side of the lane, on 79 and 77 Avenues. Especially with large windows on the side of the building. 2. Street congestion. With 78th Avenue effectively functioning like a one-way street, due to parking on both sides, little parking at the development, and an estimate of an extra 304 vehicle trips a day, this will cause increased congestion on 78th Avenue, which is already congested with neighbors often using the back lanes for quicker access. 3. 3-bedroom units. There are only 8 3-bedroom units, which makes up 5.6% of the units in Metro 78. According to the existing zoning for a 6-story building, in order to have an increased density, 10% of units need to be 3-bedroom. 4. The Charles Simmons Park contribution. This $100,000 contribution appears at the expense of landscaping of the green spine. The previous proposal mentioned landscaping on city-owned land. The current proposal no longer has this included. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch this video. Make sure to give your feedback on this development at engage.edmonton.ca/metro78 by September 6th.